Welcome back. In this week's Home Zone, we have an example of how newlyweds are getting a great start to their new marriage by working together on a fun project. That is Justin making plans to fix up their almost 30-year-old camper, and that is Nicki getting ready to put out the fire that we almost started. They are getting rid of everything that is laminate and replacing it with wood in their camper. And if you're planning on doing something similar, you might benefit from some of the tips and tricks to make it easier, faster, and less expensive.
So we have an old pop-up camper. It's a Coleman Americana Sequoia. I think it's 1995, and we've been just kind of fixing it up a little bit by a little bit.
Nicki and Justin's camper needed a makeover.
The table here, this long bench here.
The countertops were the focus of this project, 6 pieces in all, and I'm helping.
And they're blue, and they don't really match the aesthetic we're going for anymore, so we're just changing them to be looking like all natural wood so that it just keeps it fresh and modern looking.
First tip, measure the old stuff, go to a home store, buy nice plywood, and have them rough cut it to size, but just a little bit bigger. From there, lay the old laminate pieces on top of the new wood and trace out the shape. That way it fits perfectly back into the camper.
His mom has showed me stuff he made in woodshop class in high school, and it looks pretty nice.
Do you realize he can't get the bit out of the bit holder?
The thing's stuck.
After getting it unstuck, it was jigsaw time.
And then together we're gonna cut off the edges because it does have that rounded shape on the corners. We're gonna jigsaw those edges off as close as we can. And then with this router, once I figure it out, we're gonna get those edges nice and flush perfectly.
Justin thought about sanding off the extra. That would take forever. Instead, use a flush cutting router bit. First, clamp the old new wood pieces together so they don't move. The ball bearing bit then follows the edge of the old wood while cutting the new wood to mimic the shape. When using a router,
Safety is of the utmost concern, and these things are no joke. They can turn your fingers into ground beef, so you gotta be careful.
generally with a router, you want to move around the wood counterclockwise. That's because the bit spins clockwise, and if you go the same way it spins, it can take off.
And check out that edge.
And you wanted to sand it.
Yeah, man, that's way better.
Isn't it? The next step was to protect the edges with T-molding, just like the old tops had. Justin came up with this tip.
So we got our slot cutter bit here all put on the router, and rather than measure exactly where the middle is on our new piece, using the old one as a model, we can just slide this up, find exactly where the cut is, because we're just copying the same thing, and once we're there, lock it in.
Just like with any router bit, you don't have to make it perfect on the first pass. Pushing to get the slot bit deep enough made the bit smoke. Although a nice pretty blue, we had to buy another bit. Before applying the T-molding, Nicki and Justin sanded the tops. Man, they're fast. Then she used a wood conditioner prior to staining to prevent splotchiness. Now staining. It took several thin coats over the course of a day or two. Just follow the instructions of whatever you choose. And they did a great job. Look at the final product. 6 stained pieces of perfectly cut and trimmed wood. The cost? Under $500. Way to go, team.
Sometimes the best way to celebrate a job well done is with a big old chili dog.
Thanks, Scott.
You are welcome. If you like all that information, you can go to fox59.com, then click on Morning News and look for the Home Zone tab. That's where you can find this story, and you can also check out other Home Zone projects we've done so far. By the way, if you have done a home improvement project recently, especially if you videotaped it, that could be featured on our segment, send me an email at sjones@fox59.com.
They're so cute.
They are.
Looked really good.
It looked great. And by the way, they were quoted $1,000 to do just 3 pieces. They did 6 pieces for under $500.
Wow.
And that included buying the tools, which he then sold back to somebody else. You know,
Well,
on
like
like
another
eBay.
person?
Just like on
Oh,
eBay. It's like, we've used this once. I don't really have a need for a router.
Oh, smart.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're going to do stuff like that, Jim, you want the T-molding, because with camper stuff, the tables go up, they go down, they're moving all the time, and they will chip without this T-molding right
Oh,
here.
you got to have something a little bit pliable or flexible. I guess.
Exactly.
You know, there's another thing you can do, Scott. You can rent tools as well.
Yeah,
So that's
right.
another
That's true.
option.
That is true.
And then that way you don't have to buy them and then try to sell them. So
All
maybe
good
that's a
plans.
home zone.
There you go.
Renting tools.